Alrighty, so news of the week episode on this Thursday early evening, and the first thing we're going to talk about is some head coaches end up on the chopping block because we saw two head coaches got end up on the chopping block and got relieved of their duties. Starting off with the Colorado Rapids, they have fired Chris Armas after 2 seasons, and what's kind of interesting is that it's really a firing for them if Chris Armas was gonna have his contract not going to renew. I mean, he was already at the end of his contract, and obviously he expresses frustration toward that. And I'm not quite sure this what he did in terms of expressing his frustration, especially toward the media, had anything to do with the firing. But nevertheless, Colorado decided not to renew his contract, and again, it just feels like they might as well just kind of said that instead of this being a firing. But Chris Armas is another guy that doesn't really last very long in terms of the teams that he's within. I mean, 2 seasons here with the Rapids. We saw what happened in Toronto. Most infamously, only lasted after what I think games during the COVID shortened season, and then even when we saw what happened with the Red Bulls, he was far after 1 year of winning the Supporter Shield as well. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not if he does get another job. I mean, he's a head coach that can definitely bring some success at least in the short term. Now, what kind of success it would be? I mean, it really depends, and that we'll see whether we're going to see another situation where we always see head coaches around this league sometime getting recycled, and it feels like Chris Armas is an example of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are going to be some teams that currently do not have a head coach as we head into off season. Maybe is looking for Chris Armas and say, hey, maybe he might be a good short term option that to get ourselves back to relevance. Now, the New York Red Bulls have also announced that they have shaked up the team organization, and while they keep one of their technical staff in this team, they said that they are going to be letting go of Sandro Schwarz after just 3 seasons. Now, for Sandro Schwarz, it's been kind of an interesting time with the New York Red Bulls, despite the fact that he theoretically actually have the worst record out of any Red Bulls head coach in the past. He is still a rare Red Bulls head coach that actually got the team to MLS Cup. I mean, I know that some might say that the firing was coming with the way that the very next year they miss out on the playoffs, and when you miss out on the playoffs for the first time in 15 years, there are obviously going to be some repercussion, and maybe that, of course, is the case. But I also have heard Red Bulls fans have said that maybe this firing was a little bit harsh, especially after they made an MLS Cup appearance, and especially the fact that the roster that he's been worked with, Sandro Schwartz, it feels like it's a little bit tough compared to previous Red Bulls head coach. Previous Red Bulls head coach, they tend to do pretty well, and most of that is because they have a pretty good roster. For these last couple of years, the roster for the Red Bulls had been mediocre at best, and the fact that he still was able to get that team to MLS Cup last year was just nothing short of a miracle. So yeah, again, that might be one way you can, of course, look at it, at least according to some Red Bulls fan. But either way, they are going to be looking for another head coach, and we'll see whether or not they're going to promote within again, because that's kind of how it is with the Red Bulls. They like to when they hire head coaches, they tend to like to promote within. Now, speaking of head coaches, there is now more noises that are saying that it seems like Atlanta United is going to bring back Tata Martino as their head coach. And I've said this in the last News of the Week episode. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work out entirely. I mean, I know that this is a team that desperately want to get themselves back to the glory days that they had when they came into the league. But we saw what happened this season when they brought back Miguel Almiron, a key contributor of the glory days that Atlanta has, and it didn't really quite worked out. And if they decided to bring Joseph Martinez back, honestly, if they decide to do that, you might as well just maybe think about seeing if you still got Michael Parkhurst or even Jeff Larentowicz and ask them to come out of retirement, because you might as well just reconstruct the 2018 MLS Cup winning team and hope that they can get themselves back to glory. But either way, it kind of makes sense the fact that they want to bring him not just for the nostalgia reason, but he is kind of the mastermind in terms of guiding them some success. So maybe he might find a way to do so heading in to this upcoming season. I mean, one thing about the Atlanta United job, I don't think this job is as lucrative as we've seen before, mainly because when you look at this team, there's a lot of mess that is going on with this team. I mean, I don't think a good head coach is going to overnight fix the issue that this team has had, mainly because the roster that is constructed, it is just so flawed to a point where it's no surprise that they've been struggling these last couple of years. And it also doesn't help the fact that the signings that they made throughout these last couple of seasons, there's been more bust in terms of their signing than actually hit with this team. So yeah, obviously we'll see whether or not if this does happen, and if it does happen, I don't know if it's gonna bring Atlanta United back to the glory days that it is. I mean, the only way I think Atlanta can get themselves back to the glory days that they have is that those signings that they made, the $50 million attack, has to perform to the level that they clearly did not do this season. I mean, this was underachieving to its maximum level when you look at how that attack was this season, the amount that they spend, and the quality that attack should bring. I mean, it is kind of mind-boggling how much underachieving that was, and was kind of a big reason why this team finished near the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Now, Luis Muzi has announced that he is actually stepping down as the Orlando City senior advisor of ownership group. Now, this one is kind of interesting because for Orlando City, as much as they want some changes to their team, especially, I'm pretty sure a lot of Orlando City fans are demanding for Oscar Pereira heads after how the season went out for this team. Luis Muzi is definitely not a guy that I think a lot of Orlando City fans think that they should remove. I mean, he's actually done a pretty good job in terms of not only turning around this franchise. I mean, before he came to this team, this franchise was an absolute mess. Orlando City fans almost forgot that this is a team for the first 5 seasons. They did not make it to the playoffs. And the fact that now they actually have the longest active playoff streak out of any team, a big part of that is because of Luis Muzi, the part of this team, and really building a roster that can compete year in and year out. Just obviously don't look at what happened this previous season. It didn't quite work out with this team whatsoever. But yeah, him stepping down, it feels like maybe he might be looking to go somewhere else that might be more lucrative. I would say that is kind of the reason why he stepped down in this role. But nevertheless, I think Orlando City fans will definitely miss his leadership to this team, and it's not going to be easy to replace a guy like him, especially a guy that really just turned things around for this team these last couple of years. Now, moving on, in terms of the next news, so this was definitely a big news a couple of days ago, and that, of course, is Yao Boa and Derek Jones. Both of them are now on administrative leave, potentially violating MLS league rule. And what's kind of interesting is that this news literally happened a couple of days after the NBA betting ring scandal. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody have heard about the NBA betting ring scandal, and I know once this news was reported, I checked the Reddit page and also the reaction from MLS fans, and all of them are saying that, yep, this is probably betting. That is the reason that they are put on administrative leave for violating MLS league rule. Now, obviously, I don't know if they are involved in that betting scandal that is going on with the NBA. I highly doubt that is the case. I would be absolutely shocked that if it is, because that would just be absolutely mind blowing. That I have never thought that both of those guys were part of that ongoing betting ring scandal that's going in NBA. But obviously, I won't be surprised that it might have something to do with betting, and especially with the way that both of these guys was actually teammates with the Columbus Crew. So I think the fact that both of these guys have found guilty of something, it must have gone back to the days when they were with the Columbus Crew. And if it is something that maybe Columbus might also hit under the rug, they might be in trouble too as an organization. But to this day, we still don't know exactly what exactly the rules that they violated. The league has been very kept under the rug, and haven't been really transparent when it comes to mentioning administrative leave, and mention and be more transparent of what kind of rule that these players have broke through. I mean, after all, we still don't know to this day what exactly happened that led Bruce Arena to violating the rules when he was with New England, and to this day we'll never find out. There's a lot of conspiracy of what happened during that scandal, but to this day we still haven't found out, and we'll probably never found out in that situation. Now, moving on in terms of the next news, so we got a couple of season-ending awards that was announced this past week. Starting off with Young Player of the Year, it is won by Alex Freeman. Unsurprising. I mean, Alex Freeman, probably the most talented youngster this season, especially probably one of the best, if not the best, back in the league this season as well, and a guy that definitely have potential to not only do very well, but also a guy that has U.S. men's national team quality as well. And also it also helps the fact that in the 22 under 22 kind of countdown, Alex Greenwood was number one in that list. So yeah, when you are number one on that list, or actually no, he wasn't actually number one on that list, but he was close to being number one. I think he was number two on that list. But when you're around that top spot, around that point, yeah, you're of course going to have a good chance of winning Young Player of the Year, and that's exactly what happened. For Comeback Player of the Year, it is awarded to Nick Haglund, and this is not a big surprise. I mean, Nick Haglund, what a comeback year he has after suffering that season-ending injury just prior to the season. He has been an absolute rock to that Cincy defense. I mean, between him and Robinson has really solidified that defense for Cincinnati year in and year out. And so, yeah, non-surprising that he, of course, won the comeback player of the year. Now, for defender of the year, and I actually wrote the wrong awards here. Actually, let me just change that real quick. I actually wrote comeback player of the year twice on this board, but for the defender of the year, this is usually one that maybe is a little bit debated. Apparently they awarded to Tristan Blackman as the defender player of the year. Now, again, Union fans are probably going to be heavily debated, saying that yeah, I feel like Jacob Glasnes probably should have won this one, or even Kyle Wagner as well. Though I will say that if Kyle Wagner does win it, then I think fans will be frustrated in terms of the fact that yeah, it feels like this award has now become more awarded to the attacking defender, especially the attacking fullback. I mean, last year when Steven Moreira won that award, there was a lot of question and a lot of fans that feel like, yeah, this feels like it's not legitimate because Steven Moreira is more of an attacking defensive player. But yeah, this time they decided to award it to Tristan Blackman. He's been an absolute rock for his Vancouver Whitecaps. The fans, one of the big reason why they're one of the best defensive team in the league, and also one of the big reason why they haven't been defending relatively well as they have been in the first half of the season. I mean, he's been out at times dealing with injuries, but yeah, well he deserved to win Defender Player of the Year, even though there are definitely some objections, especially from Philly Union fans. Now, Inter Miami have announced that they have signed Yannick Bright to a contract extension. This is not a big surprise. I mean, Yannick Bright has been a stud for Inter Miami. Kind of almost a forgotten player to the fact that he has such a high ceiling with this team, because we always talk about all the stars that this Inter Miami team has, especially the young Argentine player, and people forget that Yannick Bright, as a homegrown, he has really not only lived up to the potential, but could get even better, and a guy that I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been in the finalists in terms of being young player of the year. I mean, with the production that he's been producing for Inter Miami year in year out, I would have thought that he would at least get some recognition of maybe be the young player of the year as well. Now, MLS, the PA has announced that they have released the fall salary guide in terms of every single team and how much that each of these players earn. And at the top of the list, we saw Messi and Sung, both of them earning the most. And this is not a big surprise. I mean, Messi obviously earns a lot of money. The fact that eventually he earns $20 million. I have a feeling that's just kind of the the small part of his earning. He probably earns even more in terms of sponsorship deal, and also the whole Apple TV deal as well. I don't think that is included in the $20 million per year that he is earning. And then of course Sung Hyun, not a big surprise because with the way that when LAFC bought him, they were gonna sign him to just such a lucrative DP contract that yeah, it's right up there in terms of being one of the most expensive contract we have ever seen in league history. They've said that he earns about $10 million, which is a lot of money that is. Now, moving on to news that is unrelated to MLS, but some related to the USL. I want to congratulate Louisville City, of course, setting the points record per game in terms of the USL Championship. Now, technically, what that means is that the points per game record means that it's the average of points per game that Louisville City break. They actually didn't break the total points record in the USL Championship, and because the USL Championship throughout the years have different type of amount of games that is being played, that's kind of the reason why I think maybe they'll look at the points record per game as a bigger thing than it is the total points total. But yeah, they broke the record that Orlando City set when Orlando City was still in the USL championship. And ironically, Louisville City, that this team basically come from Orlando City. I mean, when Orlando City went into the league, a lot of the team basically went to Louisville City. I mean, you look at the purple that they wear; it's the same color as Orlando City as well. Now, obviously, one thing Louisville will definitely want to avoid of what that Orlando City team did of getting the points record per game in the USL Championship is that Orlando City team was disappointing in the playoffs. I think if I remember, that was the team that got knocked out in the early rounds. That is, Louisville City will hope to not do that. I mean, they also are hoping to get themselves back to the USL Championship. It's been quite a while since this team or not the USL Championship. I mean, sorry, but the USL Cup that is. And it's kind of hard to believe, but it's kind of been a minute since Louisville City has been back at the USL Cup. They've been considered to be the most dominant team in the Eastern Conference and one of the most dominant team in the USL Championship over the year. But getting to the cup itself, that's been kind of a struggle, at least in the last couple of years, and it also kind of doesn't help that they were involved a couple of big upsets on their way, or on the wrong end of big upset, trying to be on their way up of USL Cup. Now, Texoma have announced that they have self-relegated to the USL League Two, so now they have becoming an amateur team because of playing in the USL League Two. Because pretty much all the team in the USL League Two are amateur team, and this is not a big surprise. We've heard about the financial problem that this team has had and whether or not if this team was going to get dissolved because of it. Well, it looks like they're not going to get dissolved, but the bad news is they are going to self-relegate themselves and hope to maybe get things right and get the books correct to get themselves back to League One. Because speaking of teams that are coming from USL League One and League Two and a little shakeup, looks like Fort Wayne FC is moving up to the USL League One. Now, I'm not quite sure if this is direct correlation to Texoma decided to relegate themselves to USL League Two, but nevertheless, it feels like maybe Fort Wayne have started to see that they could definitely earn more money and decide to move up to USL League One. And it's important to note that a lot of team wants to get to USL League One or even in the USL Championship as well, because we're getting to a point where we're pretty close to when the USL decided that they are going to go with a promotion and relegation system, and that top tier called the first division. It seems like that's going to start relatively soon, and with that being connected with both the USL Championship and USL League One, it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to go. And there's a chance that a lot of these teams playing in League One, they want to get in there because there could be a chance where these teams might not actually just playing third tier soccer for long. They might be playing some top flight soccer depending on how things would work down the line, and that's kind of the reason why we're seeing a huge boom when it comes to expansion in the USL level. A lot of teams want to get involved in this because there's a good chance where they could actually promote themselves all the way up to the first tier of US soccer, that is. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about Messi and his comments that he made a couple of days ago about the league needs to loosen its roster and spending rule. And, this has been a big talking point within the league for the past couple of years. The fact that, with the league where it is in terms of the salary cap and also the amount that teams can spend, and also the roster rule itself. It just feels like the league could definitely be much better if they loosen those rules. And I do agree with Messi in many ways. I mean, when you look at the last CBA, that was kind of one of the main thing that a lot of fans and players want to see, and a lot of teams want to see the fact that the roster rule being more loose. Maybe you add a couple more roster spot and also increase the salary cap as well, because you're seeing teams basically want to spend more money and be more ambitious and compete in multiple level, and not just in MLS, but they just simply can't do that because of all the roster restriction that is going on. Now, I think Messi have also mentioned to eliminate the salary cap itself. I mean, for me, I will always die on the hill by saying that I don't think MLS needs to necessarily eliminate the salary cap. I know there's going to be a lot of people are going to say that they should do so, but I think at the end of the day, I am kind of still die on the hill of the salary cap be implemented. It's a good thing, not just for parity reason, but you don't want spending to just go completely out of control. That that kind is a situation that doomed the original NASL. That is. But I think that the other thing that maybe the league might need to do, and this is kind of the thing that I've seen the MLB is trying to do itself. Not just the fact that MLB want to have a salary cap itself, but they need a salary floor. I think the league definitely need a salary floor to force some of these teams that doesn't spend a lot of money to spend more to keep up, because that's kind of the biggest criticism when it comes to the current model, where not just the fact that a lot of teams are kind of very frustrated that they can't spend more because of the restriction, but they're saying that this really benefits some of these teams that are not spending a lot of money, because as long as these teams are spending the bare minimum and the bare bone to keep up, I mean that's perfectly fine within in the rule of the book. And again, this just feels like it's just gonna cripple the chances of the salary cap to continue to increase as well. And that I do think that a salary floor would be a huge great idea to do so, which can definitely force some of these lower spending teams that they have to spend money, and if they don't spend that amount of money, then maybe the league can force the ownership to change within hand, so that they can meet the guidelines of potentially spending the amounts that needed, while also keeping the competition healthy, and also keeping in check in terms of teams able to not have to just spend incredibly amount of money to really just dominate the league year in and year out. So yeah, again, it is something that it's a very touchy subject, and something that it's kind of I would say is still a work in progress. But again, this next CBA is going to be very interesting to see. I think this next CBA is going to be a thing that they're going to have to get it right, because if they don't get this right in terms of this next CBA, keep in mind, I think the next CBA expire at the end of the 2026 season. Knowing the fact that you're going to get the momentum from the 2026 World Cup, and maybe that will help the league continue to grow, similar to how this league was really founded because of the success that we saw in the '94 World Cup. They need to get that right, because imagine if we have a lockout and you have all this momentum and some new fans coming to this league. That's not going to be a good look in terms of the league. That will not only stagnate the growth, but also could decrease the growth itself if we have a potential lockout like what we've seen previously. That this league almost was going to happen in previous year. But there you have it. That is pretty much it. Looking at this week edition of the News of the Week episode. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of these news, and if there's any news I didn't mention here on the board, let me know in the comments below as always. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.